Frank Sheeran. I saying that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Under the contract, management can only fire a driver on very specific charges. So, you ever show up late?
In the aftermath of the New York Film Festival press screening of Netflix's latest production, the Irishman director Martin Scorsese took the opportunity to reflect on the project's long-awaited realization. He revealed that both he and Robert De Niro had yearned to collaborate again ever since their work on Casino. The statement seemed peculiar, considering the pair had previously built an extensive and fruitful partnership prior to the release of Casino. In fact, during that time, critics dismissed the film as a tired rehash of Goodfellas. By the time The Irishman was conceived, Casino enjoys a better reputation, and De Niro and Scorsese find themselves reunited after decades apart. This notion of time passing is central to The Irishman, despite the seemingly daunting 3.5-hour runtime. Scorsese delves back into the realm of organized crime, spanning roughly 50 years in the life of Frank Sheeran, played by De Niro, a real-life hitman portrayed in Charles Brandt's non-fiction book, I Heard You Paint Houses, a phrase that pointedly appears on screen early in Scorsese's film. To enable De Niro, now 76 years old, and other cast members to portray younger versions of themselves, the movie employs cutting-edge computer effects to de-age its main characters for significant portions of the story. It stands as Netflix's most ambitious production to date, and was set to receive a limited theatrical release in November before streaming to Netflix subscribers on Thanksgiving. The de-aging effects, for the most part, seamlessly integrate into the film. Aside from a few instances where the young De Niro fails to match the appearance of his actual youthful self, the most notable change lies in his eye color, transitioning from brown to blue. These subtle modifications possess an eerie quality, which works in harmony with the movie's dispassionate and matter-of-fact treatment of Frank's murderous occupation. He never explicitly refers to himself as a hitman, instead identifying vaguely as a union man.
What do you want to know? You want to know if I did it or not?
The Irishman introduces Frank as a delivery truck driver who excels at strategic meat theft while evading detection. He eventually becomes entangled with the Bufalino crime family, forming close relationships with Russell, played by Joe Pesci, emerging from retirement, and the influential union leader Jimmy Hoffa, played by Al Pacino, in his long-overdue Scorsese debut. Frank dispatches numerous individuals with a bullet to the head, but a significant portion of his time is devoted to resolving petty disputes and deciphering the hidden implications of mobsters' guarded remarks. De Niro provides the customary Scorsese-style narration, outlining the intricacies of his criminal undertakings. However, The Irishman diverges from films like Casino and Goodfellas, which brimmed with procedural details and presented multiple colorful perspectives. Scorsese and his long-standing editor, Thelma Schoonmaker, still inject the story with snappy cutaways and maintain a brisk pace, but their focus shifts to middle management insights. On-screen text fills in certain gaps, becoming an ongoing gag as it introduces minor characters along with the details of their violent demises years later. The de-aging effects succeed due to their subtlety, with Frank Sheeran never looking particularly youthful. Throughout most of the movie, he comfortably embodies a middle-aged demeanor, likely robbed of any youthful idealism or vitality due to his World War II service. The retro clumsiness of these characters, past their physical primes, infuses The Irishman with an unexpected dose of humor. The tough guys, especially Al Pacino's volatile portrayal of Hoffa, argue over punctuality, share cereal, and sip ginger ale.
It's over. They're all gone. Frank, it's time. It's time you say what happened.
In a framing device within a framing device, De Niro and Pesci embark on a slow-paced road trip, filled with smoke breaks, accompanied by their wives. While Scorsese's gangster films have always possessed elements of dark humor, here it takes on a more ordinary, everyday quality. For instance, the incredibly influential Hoffa tries to savor an ice cream sundae while being hounded by an associate about federal laws affecting their pensions differently. Pacino is a delight in his role, reconciling his flamboyant showmanship, befitting a self-appointed leader of men, with moments of quiet, seething intensity. Pesci, on the other hand, subverts the hot-headed characters he played in Goodfellas and Casino. He portrays the even-tempered higher-up who assesses situations and issues commands, still referring to De Niro as kid after decades of partnership. It's an impressive display of restrained power.
You didn't see what I see, what I've been through.
A friend of ours is having a little trouble. Friend at the top.
Hiya, Frank. This is Jimmy Hoffa.
Glad to meet you.
De Niro's performance, despite the digital alterations, may initially appear familiar to Scorsese enthusiasts, relying on his trademark downturned mouth, crinkled eyes, and hesitant speech. However, as The Irishman progresses, enthralling but far from concise, his portrayal gains momentum and strength. The film barely delves into Frank's family life, reinforcing his perpetual middle-aged demeanor. It scarcely differentiates between his wife and his mistress. Yet, Scorsese establishes early on that Frank operates under the watchful gaze of his daughter Peggy, played by Lucy Galena as a child and Anna Paquin as an adult. As a young girl, Peggy remains mostly silent, described by her parents as shy and sensitive. However, her silence takes on a more significant meaning as she grows older. It's disheartening to witness Anna Paquin's character reduced to reproachful looks in a Scorsese film, but thematically, her neglect is appropriate. Frank's closest relationships are with his fellow gangsters and co-workers. He may not revel in violence, but he feels at home within that world, more so than in the domestic sphere.
Yeah.
Frank Sheeran. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Under the contract, management can only fire a driver on very specific charges. So, you ever show up late?
Scorsese's violent films have always grappled with the consequences of their characters' actions. But The Irishman offers a particularly intriguing exploration of Frank's aging process. The opening shot, tracking through a nursing home, immediately establishes that this is not a tale of a character meeting a grisly end or being blown up by a car bomb. Frank must live with what he has done, yet he remains ill-equipped to come to terms with it. The movie is chilling, not because De Niro portrays Frank as an icy, unfeeling killer, but because he embodies the role of an amiable company man, taking pride in his union appreciation dinner while killing without remorse.
Nobody in this country who didn't know who Jimmy Hoffa was.
Get a gun! Get the gun out of his hand! You always charge a guy with a gun. With a knife, you run away. So you charge with a gun, with a knife, you run.
Scorsese has consistently regarded his gangster characters with a mix of fascination and revulsion, but they have never appeared less glamorous than in The Irishman, particularly during the film's devastating final act. The key figures in The Irishman weave in and out of 1960s and 1970s American history. However, most of them, especially Frank, seem to exist solely for their pointless and petty work, futilely fighting against the ticking clock. This theme imbues the movie's technological battle against the ravages of time with poignant undertones, as the digital fountain of youth ultimately succumbs to decrepitude. In many ways, The Irishman is an old man film, a slower, contemplative work by a filmmaker reflecting on his advancing age and the beloved classics he created in his youth. Yet true to Scorsese's style, it pulsates with more life than the works of many younger directors before delving into stark, chilling regret. In conclusion, The Irishman is a cinematic tour de force that showcases Martin Scorsese's masterful storytelling and the exceptional performances of Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. It is a film that lingers in your mind, provoking contemplation on the passage of time, the consequences of our actions, and the fragility of our mortal existence. That's 4 stars out of 5 from FlickView.
Sooner or later,
Get the gun out of his hand!
everybody put here as a date when he's gonna go.
You want to be a part of this fight? Would you like to be a part of this history?
Yes, I would. Whatever you need me to do, I'm available.
He likes to talk, don't he?